Hi there guys, it's Adam Martin here, and welcome back to another installment of the Now Review. And it seems we've got a brand new extra edition to take a look at today. Anyone familiar with the Now series will know that their yearbooks have been some of the most popular releases from the franchise over the last few years, and to supplement them, or to give them even more hits as it were, they've been putting out these extra releases every so often afterwards. So we had Now Yearbook 86 in the February of this year, it's now April, and it's time for 60 more essential hits from 1986 to be added to our shelves. I present to you Now Yearbook Extra 1986. So as you can see, like normal with the covers of the yearbooks, it's pretty much the same. So we've gone with the lovely purple hue that the 86 yearbook went with. We've got the extra banner on the right hand side there. As always, I am a little bit confused that it just says, you know, it says collector's edition at the top, yet they never necessarily put out how many of these they actually make. So it is a little bit confusing, but I guess that's to try and entice people to buy. At the bottom there, as you can see, it says 60 more essential hits from 1986. So what are those essential hits? Well, we're going to be taking a look. Let's flip it on over and delve into that all-important track list. So CD1, we're kicking off with Queen and A Kind of Magic, and yeah, that song is pretty iconic, one of their most well-known ones, definitely. We have Eurythmics with When Tomorrow Comes, The Bangles with Walk Like an Egyptian. A lot of people dog on that song, but I've got to admit, I quite like it. We have Aha with Hunting High and Low, again, a brilliant song from that album they had. I think that was their debut album. Excellent song, glad that's here. We have Sting with Russians, Brian Ferry and Is Your Love Strong Enough, Sade was Never As Good As the First Time, beautiful voice Sade. We have Anita Baker with Sweet Love, Patti LaBelle with Oh People, Tina Turner with Two People, Jackie Graham with Step Right Up, Haywood with Roses, 5 Star with Systematic, not my favourite song of theirs, but you know, glad to see they're here, Orchestral Manoeuvres in the Dark with If You Leave, The Style Council with Have You Ever Had It Blue, Suzanne Vega and Joe Jackson with Left of Centre, which was in the Pretty in Pink soundtrack, and I must admit, I did watch that not too long ago, Pretty in Pink, and it's a solid 80s film. We have Paul Simon with Graceland, Stan Ridgway with Camouflage, and Paul Young with Wonderland. So that's 19 tracks there, taking up CD1. CD2 kicks off with Bon Jovi and You Give Love a Band Name. They had a great 1986, and that is a great song of theirs, still holds up today. We have Kenny Loggins with Danger Zone, of course, famously heard in the Top Gun soundtrack, the original Top Gun, and again, fantastic tune that is. We have Pat Benatar with Sex as a Weapon. Sounds very intense. Robert Palmer with I Didn't Mean to Turn You On. Spandau Ballet with Fight for Ourselves. Simple Minds with Sanctify Yourself, Hip Sway with The Honey Thief, Julian Cope with World Shut Your Mouth, Nick Hayward with Over the Weekend, It Bites with Calling All the Heroes, Mr. Mister with Kyrie, Cutting Crew with I Just Died in Your Arms. Excellent song, by the way. Amazed that didn't make the main yearbook, to be honest, but yeah, really glad that's here. ZZ Top and Rough Boy, Cock Robin with The Promise You Made, Modern Talking with Brother Louie, Samantha Fox with Do You Wanna Please Me. Again, very underrated song from her. That first album in particular she put out, I think, is actually quite strong. So yeah, let's put some respect on Samantha Fox's music career, shall we? Jennifer Rush with Ring of Ice. She's got so many good songs, man. Glad that one that isn't The Power of Love, or, you know, one of the few that people know. Glad that's here. Elton John with Heartache All Over the World, Peter Cetera with Glory of Love, and Bruce Hornsby and the Range round off with The Way It Is, a beautiful, gorgeous song. Again, amazed that didn't make the main yearbook, but that's 20 tracks on CD2. And on CD3, we're kicking off with The House Martins and Happy Hour, The Smiths with Ask, New Order with Shell Shock, Frankie Goes to Hollywood with Warriors of the Wasteland. I'll guess that's from their Liverpool album. Not as big of a success as the Pleasure Dome album, sadly. Sig Sig Sputnik with 21st Century Boy, Dead or Alive with Brand New Lover, Falco with Vienna Calling, which, even though he's known for Rock Me Amadeus, I think that did go top 20 in a lot of European territories. Culture Club with God Thank You Woman, Latin Quarter with Radio Africa, Grace Jones with Pull Up to the Bumper, Sly Fox with Let's Go All the Way, James Brown with Living in America, famously heard in the Rocky IV soundtrack, but wasn't that 1985? Or maybe it was a hit in 86, who knows. Jelly Bean with Sidewalk Talk, Sherelle and Alexander O'Neill with Saturday Love, the SOS Band with The Finest, Orange Juice Jones with The Rain, Gregory Abbott with Shake You Down, Atlantic Star with Secret Lovers, Billy Ocean with There'll Be Sad Songs to Make You Cry, loved the album he put out in 1986, Freddie Jackson with Rock Me Tonight for Old Time's Sake, and we finish with Marvin Gaye and I Heard It Through the Grapevine, which of course was a hit well before 1986, but I'm guessing, oh, wasn't it the California Raisins commercial? Didn't that put it back into the charts, I'm guessing? And that's 21 tracks on CD3, so as total, 60 tracks across 3 different CDs there. But now you know what time it is. We've got to open this up and take a look at what's inside. So opening it up, as you can see on the right, we've got an advert for the other extra editions, and that's right, every single Now Yearbook that's come out so far has an extra companion to go with it. So if you're missing any, you might be in luck, you might still be able to get it somewhere. And what about the discs themselves, you say? Well, as you can see, the main colour of all of them is purple, quite appropriately. They bear the logo and the extra moniker, and the only difference is the outline. So CD1 is purple with a yellow trim, CD2 has that trim in like an orange style, and CD3 has it in, but I guess it is like a blend of red and orange. It's a bit hard to tell, especially with my eyes, but those are your 3 discs. So, overall then, what do I think about the package of this album? Well, as always with the extra releases of the yearbooks, I kind of like them to have songs that I'm not too familiar with. I always see the extra releases, even though they say more essential hits, they do often contain a lot of hits that quite a lot of people, unless you, I guess, were really into music at the time, you know, people wouldn't have remembered or have been glossed over or forgotten about. So, in my personal opinion, the more songs that I can discover on here, the better. And I'd argue in terms of that track list, it's sort of, I'd say out of the 60, there's probably about a third, about 20 songs that I at least know, like by reading them, I can hear them in my head. But a solid 2/3 of this, I gotta be honest, or maybe it's closer, I don't know, but there's a fair amount on here that I don't recognise by name or I can't hear it in my head. So I'm going to look forward to discovering all of this. And I've seen some people comment on social media with these extra releases saying, oh, you know, it's great to have some of these songs on CD because they maybe haven't been re-released on CD or, you know, something like that. So I always enjoy these extra releases, personally. There's enough new here, but enough familiar to get me involved. And if you think that's the same for you, as always, check the track list before you buy. How much does it retail for? Well, the retail price is about £8.99, so let's just round that up, about £9. You can get it from the usual places. HMV is where I tend to get all my Now albums. You can get it from the Now website themselves. It does retail for £8.99. However, I believe you will have to pay some pounds in postage. Also, you might get lucky at your local supermarket. I know places like Asda still stock CDs to some extent, so you might still get lucky there. Or your independent music retailer if you have one. But that is Now Yearbook 86 Extra in a nutshell. It doesn't necessarily break the mold, it doesn't do anything new for this series, but in terms of what it's designed for, it does a good job. It's got enough songs I think people might know, like, you know, you've got your Queen, your Rhythmics, the Bangles, Aha, etc. But there's enough tracks, particularly on CD2 and CD3, that people might not recognise by name or haven't heard in several decades, and it might entice them back into buying this. So if you think this is the one for you, you think you want to have this as the companion to your Now Yearbook 86, then this is the one for you. But that's all for this installment of the Now Review. Thank you very much for watching. As always, if you did enjoy this video, please leave a like on it. It really does help us out here. And also leave your comments down below. Are you going to be picking up this extra release or are you going to pass on it entirely? And I want to know your reasons why either way. Subscribe to AMTV Now as well if you're brand new. We'd love to have you aboard. I've been Adam Martin from AMTV Now. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next time for another spin on the turntable.